Consumables are some of the most overpowered items in TDS, ranging from a grenade, to a supply drop, to a literal nuke. In this video I'll be going over all 21 of the consumables, showing you how to get them, when to use them, and my personal ranking of how good they are. Starting off, we have the low-grade crate. This crate can be purchased for 300 coins, or obtained from day 6 of the login rewards. It also has a chance of dropping upon triumphing any mode. Upon opening, you get a total of 4 consumables, with the chances of each consumable being 16% for the grenade, flashbang, barricade, and Molotov, 7% for the airstrike, supply drop, and UAV, 3% for the Napalm Strike, damage flag, range flag, and cooldown flag, 1% for the blizzard bomb, and 0.3% for the nuke. Next, we have the mid-grade crate. This crate can be purchased for 750 coins, or obtained from days 13 and 20 of the login rewards. It also has a chance of dropping upon triumphing any mode. Upon opening, you get a total of 6 consumables, with the chances of each consumable being 9% for the grenade, flashbang, barricade, and Molotov, 12% for the supply drop, airstrike, and UAV, 6% for the Napalm Strike, damage flag, range flag, and cooldown flag, 3% for the blizzard bomb, and 0.7% for the nuke. Lastly, we have the high-grade crate. This crate can be purchased for 50 Robux, or it can be obtained from day 27 of the login reward. It also has a chance of dropping upon triumphing intermediate, fallen, or hardcore. Players are also given 6 crates upon every renewal of the VIP Plus subscription, and from past event battle passes. Upon opening, you get a total of 8 consumables, with the chances for each consumable being 22% for the Napalm Strike, damage flag, range flag, and cooldown flag, 10% for the blizzard bomb, and 2% for the nuke. A quick thing to note, is that due to laws about gambling, people living in the Netherlands, Australia, or Belgium cannot purchase it, and players in England must verify they are over 18. Hey, before we move on to the consumables, why don't you consider subscribing? I mean, you've made it this far into the video. I'm trying to reach 1K by the end of the year, and I can't do it without your help. Thanks, and now back to the video. For the first consumable, we have the grenade. The grenade can be thrown anywhere on the map, exploding in a small area and dealing up to 125 damage to enemies within its blast. It has a 20-second cooldown and can be used up to 6 times per match. It's good for early game crowds, however you need to aim it well to get the full potential. Overall, I'd rate it as a low B tier. While it helps defend the early game and allows for more farming, it struggles against high health enemies, and quickly becomes ineffective. Next up, we have the barricade. The barricade can be placed at any spot on the path, and it has 150 health. It has a cooldown of 30 seconds, and can be used up to 4 times per match. It's good for early game crowds, and requires less skill to use than the grenade. However, it has a lot less potential than other consumables, being limited to only 150 damage. Due to this, I am going to rate it as a low D tier, as it quickly becomes useless. Next, we have the flashbang. The flashbang can be thrown anywhere on the map, and stuns enemies within a small area for 4 seconds. It has a cooldown of 5 seconds and can be used up to 5 times per match. It's good for fast enemies like the fallen tank, and it even works on bosses, although it's less effective. Unlike the grenade, however, it deals no damage. I rank it as a high B tier. Next up, we have the Molotov. The Molotov can be thrown anywhere on the map, and leaves behind a puddle of fire which deals 12 DPS to all enemies that touch it. It has a cooldown of 25 seconds, and can be used up to 5 times per match. Not only does it apply burn damage to enemies, but it can also set enemies on fire for up to 6 seconds, and can melt up to 50% of an enemy's defense. The only drawback about this consumable is that it has a bounce mechanic, which often causes it to miss. I would rank this as a low A tier, but due to the fact that it has a bounce mechanic, I am going to rate it a mid B tier. Next, let's move on to the mid-game consumables. These consumables generally have a longer cooldown and can be used less times, however they are a lot more powerful than things like a grenade or Molotov. For the first mid-game consumable, we have the supply drop. This consumable spawns in a supply crate, which, when claimed by the player, gives them 1000 cash. It has a cooldown of 1 minute, and can be used up to 3 times per match. This consumable is overpowered in the early game, as it allows for much more farming, however I don't recommend using it in the late game, as 1000 cash just isn't enough to make a difference. I rank this as a high A tier, and I strongly recommend you take this consumable. Next, we have the airstrike. This can be used anywhere on the map, and it spawns in a fighter plane, which drops 6 bombs, each dealing 100 splash damage. It has a cooldown of 45 seconds, and can be used up to 3 times per match. It's great for large groups of enemies, however it struggles against single target enemies, especially bosses. I rank it as a solid B tier, but there are better choices. Next, we have the Napalm Strike. This consumable is a cross between the airstrike and the Molotov. Dropping 6 bombs that leave behind a puddle of fire which deals 80 DPS, and can melt up to 50% of an enemy's defense. It has a cooldown of 45 seconds, and can be used up to 3 times per match. I rank this as a low A tier. It's great for large groups of enemies, especially breakers, however it cannot damage enemies with the no burn attribute, or enemies that fly. Next, we have the UAV. When activated, it summons in a plane, and gives all towers on the map temporary hidden and flying detection, along with a 30% range increase. It has a cooldown of 50 seconds, and can be used up to 4 times per match. I rank this as a low C tier, because it just isn't enough to replace proper detection. Next, we have the damage flag. This consumable allows you to place a flag anywhere on the map, and it gives all towers in range a 20% damage increase, lasting for 45 seconds. It has a cooldown of 1 minute, and can be used up to 3 times per match. I rank this as a high A tier, and I highly recommend you take this with you. Next, we have the Cooldown Flag. Similar to the damage flag, this consumable allows you to place a flag anywhere on the map, and it gives all towers in range a 20% fire rate decrease, lasting for 45 seconds. It has a cooldown of 1 minute, and can be used up to 3 times per match. I also rank this as a high A tier, but I don't think you need both of these flags. For the final mid-game consumable, we have the range flag. When used, this consumable allows you to place a flag anywhere on the map, and it gives all towers in range a 20% range increase, and lasting for 1 minute. It also has a cooldown of 1 minute, and can be used up to 3 times per match. This flag is basically a worse version of the UAV, the only thing that's better is that it lasts for a longer time, but I'm still going to rank it as a low E tier. We have the Blizzard Bomb. This consumable spawns in an icy storm, which can freeze enemies for 20 seconds in total. It has a 45 seconds cooldown, but can only be used 2 times per match. While this may sound great at first, you need to realize that most of the enemies this is good against have the no freeze attribute, meaning it does nothing to them. Because of this, I am actually going to rank it as an F tier, I mean even the flashbang is better than it. But lastly, for the most overpowered consumable in the game, we have the Nuke. When used, it spawns in a literal nuke, which deals 50,000 splash damage over the entire map, but it has a nuclear fallout, which deals 5% of an enemy's health every 0.5 seconds, for a total of 10 seconds. This fallout unfortunately doesn't affect bosses, but it is still really overpowered. It has no cooldown, but can only be used one time per match. This is the only consumable that I am going to put in S tier. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.